Continuing education knows that at the end, students want to graduate, and we can help them do that because we take the time to really listen to their needs and we understand all the different options that are available across the campus for them.
We don't take a cookie cutter approach. We realize each student comes with their own story. So whether it's a part-time student looking to complete a degree program or someone just looking for online courses, we're there to connect them to the resources of the university.
Thank you for coming. Today, for the record, is 4/12/24, which to me, because I'm in England, is the 4th of December. But no, it is actually the 12th of April, 2024. It's 12:10. This is panel number 17960. Performance, rhythm and words, a smile can change everything. Thank you for coming. Before we get started, I need to read something. The University of Boulder, Colorado, Colorado's flagship university, honors and recognizes the many contributions of Indigenous people in our state. CU Boulder acknowledges that it is located on the traditional territories and ancestral homelands of the Cheyenne, Arapaho, Ute, and many other Native American nations. Their forced removal from these territories has caused devastating and lasting impacts. While the University of Colorado Boulder can never undo or rectify the devastation wrought on Indigenous peoples, we commit to improving and enhancing engagement with Indigenous peoples and issues locally and globally. We will do this by recognizing and amplifying the voice of Indigenous CU Boulder students, staff, faculty and their work, educating, conducting research, supporting student successes and integrating Indigenous knowledge, and consulting, engaging and working collaboratively with tribal nations to enhance their ability to provide access and cultural sensitive support and to recruit, retain and graduate Native American students in a climate that is inclusive and respectful. Great. What a good thing that is. So, I've done that, sorry, I can get my notes now. All right, I'm from London. I make theatre, that's enough of me. We've done the title of the session. This is a session like no other, really. It does have a producer, but I only found out she was a producer about 10 minutes ago, which is great. But we're not doing the, she's not going to hand out cards, I've explained that already. There can be questions at any time. You can shout out at appropriate moments, which I'm sure you will if you have a question. As you can see, we've changed the spatial relationship in here. That's because we wanted it to be, shall I say, a little less hierarchical, more of us and you together rather than us up there and you out there. So it's we in this term. Yes, I've done that. Okay, I think I'm not going to say anything about, I'm going to ask the first, we've got 4 fantastic young artists here. And I'm going to start by asking Benjamin, who is an artist, entrepreneur, poet, photographer, and activist. That's my description. I'm going to ask Benjamin to perform a poem. And it's kind of the starting point for the whole thing. So I'll shut up and let him do it. Benjamin. Yeah, sorry. No, you can't have the mic.
Nice. It's all right if I stand up? You still got me on camera? Okay. How y'all doing today? Y'all doing good? It's a beautiful day out here in Boulder, so I'm happy for sure. So I didn't know that the title of my poem was actually in the whole panel description, but I wrote this poem called A Smile Can Change Everything. And this is the book I published last year. It's been a year out. It sold out within the first couple of months, and so I'm really excited about it. So I guess a little bit more about me. I'm getting my dual degree master's, an MFA in visual arts and an MBA in business, and I'll be done in December. So we turn it up. All right, so this is all about performance, and I kind of think our lives right now as humans is all about performance too. And so this poem kind of, in a sense, puts you on your own stage, so let me just hop into it for you. I know for a fact a smile can change everything. What if I were to tell you that life is just beginning, that our heels are still smoking from the snap that ended darkness? What if I were to tell you that you are the reason we are all here, that everyone in the audience is on their own stage, dancing, dreaming, raging against this dying cage, for the good night raves in these fiery caves. And what if I were to tell you that we are shining, brilliant flowers, blooming on the tree of space, firefly astronauts, future child love me lot, surfing on starry oceans and galactic waves? And what if I were to tell you that these words are just a taste, that you are the amazing grace that turned love into a face? And I know for a fact, your smile can change everything. Thank you.
I said to Benjamin, I often have a problem with poetry, reading in books, because I find it difficult and I can't understand it. But when somebody like that performs it so brilliantly, it just seems like the most natural thing in the world, doesn't it? You know. Anyway, Benjamin has given us, when I heard him do that, which was only this morning, I thought, okay, I know what the subject is now. The subject is life is a performance. We are all performers on our own stage, dancing on our stage, or as Shakespeare would say, I'm English, remember, all the world's a stage and all the people on it are performers. So here we are. I don't think that's a direct quote. But anyway, I'm going to start and do a very quick presentation, not really a presentation. I run improvisation classes in London for older people. And here I'm not talking about to make them smart comedians. It's for confidence and well-being. It's to allow them to have a voice when maybe they don't have much of a voice. And they can stand up and just do anything. And we play around and we do lots of silly things. So, why is it so important? What I'm going to do is talk about improvisation, but I've got other people here who are fantastic in using their skills in order to enable people to be creative. We have musicians here. We have someone who's doing laughter yoga, and we're going to hear from all of them. But first you have to listen to me. Okay. It won't be long. So why is improvisation so important? Okay. It's important because if you want to do improvisation as a group, you have to listen and empathize, because you can't do it unless you listen and empathize. And boy, do we need more listening and empathy in the world at this moment, as I'm sure you'd agree. What happens when we improvise? And Benjamin was kind of improvising there a bit with his movement, because he didn't know exactly how he was going to do that, but he was improvising. When we improvise, a kind of unfettered truth emerges. A truth. Jazz is an obvious example. And we've got a trombonist who's going to do something for you soon. It's an obvious example because when we don't plan, when we don't think too much, the truth comes out sometimes, you know? Great things come out sometimes. We've got someone here who runs raves, Matt, who, where is he? There he is, who actually is DJ raves in Berlin. When you're dancing at a rave, I have experienced this in Berlin, because believe it or not, in Berlin, it's all ages. So I was taken there a few years ago, and I was fine. There were people older than me. And when you're raving, it's completely, it's uncontrolled. Nobody's telling you how to dance. Nobody is telling you, oh, you've got to move in a certain way. It's not ballet. It's not kind of, you know, it's just you do what you do and enjoy it. So, very importantly, I think, to say about improvisation, it's based on failure. We don't talk about that much, but actually you have to fail in life. Failure is important. Failure is very important in making art, because that's what art is. You basically have an idea, you try something, you probably fail, and you try again. You're resilient. That's what art is. Or as Samuel Beckett would say, fail again, fail better. So, the other reason for improvisation is because it's just fun. Funny things happen. So one of the titles is Rhythm and Words. And I was thinking about how interesting it is that often the rhythm of words and the way you say them is more important than their actual meaning. So I'll give an example which is a kind of UK-US take on this. So Americans always sound very positive. So they might say, have a good day. That's my very bad American accent. Have a good day. So it's all sort of doodly-dee, you know. Whereas the English are much more cynical and downbeat, and they would say something like, have a good one. Diddle-um-bump. You know, it's very... So the rhythm of the words is as important, if not more so, than the actual words. There are some other examples that I got. You really must drop by one day. Does that really mean what it says? Yeah. Yes, we can. Sorry, I couldn't. 5 more years. Yeah, all the political ones are threes, aren't they? They're kind of strong beats. You know, 5 more years. Get Brexit done. You know, no more taxes. So it goes. Okay, I want to play a game. I want to play a quick game, and I'm going to invite up onto the stage here Mary Reynolds Thompson to do an improvisation that I do in London. And thank you. Let's hear it, let's hear it. Mary, you've got a chair there. I also need a chair. I didn't think about this, so I'm going to get that chair. I play this with my elders in London. It's a game called One Word Conversation. So what's going to happen is Mary and I are going to have an argument. But we're not going to use language. We're only going to use one word, okay? And that word is a place name. It doesn't have anything to do with an argument. So it's a place name. And I want a member of the audience to shout out a place name, but it has to be in England. Christchurch. Wow. Any others? Sorry, I'm just wanted to hear a few. I'm after what? Sorry? Bognor Regis. That is funny, actually. Brixton, a good one. Any others? Sorry? Ascot. Very nice, Ascot. Do you know, I'm going to go with Bognor Regis because it's really horrible seaside place that's very kind of right-wing. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to have an argument. The argument ends when I get up and leave. But the argument will be just with me saying Bognor Regis and then Mary saying Bognor Regis and then me saying it. We will see. We've not rehearsed this, obviously. We can't. So we're going to try. Bognor Regis.
Bognor Regis?
Bognor Regis.
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 Okay, that's it. Thank you. Round of applause for Mary. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, keep that flag because we're going to use it later. We're going to put it amongst all the other flags on the way down to Mackie. Nobody will notice it's different. I hope that's clear. The idea that actually body language, movement, and the way one says something can often have meaning. That's the kind of thing we explore in the improv. So I'm going to move on now to some other people around me. And the first person I'm going to move to, he says, making sure he's got the right notes, is Laura. And Laura is a storyteller, poet, dream reader, and laughter yoga practitioner. And of course, it's the last thing that we're really interested in. Okay, so I'm going to give you that, and when you want me to take it, signal to me.
All right.
Hold it for you.
Thank you very much. Well, laughter yoga is perfect for all of this discombobulation that we're experiencing. I just want to give you a little bit of intro, and then we're going to do some laughter yoga. Laughter yoga began, Dr. Madame Kataria in Mumbai, India, in 1995, was looking at the healing power of laughter. And so with 5 people, he went to a park, they started telling jokes, they started laughing. But after a couple of weeks of meeting every day, they had run out of jokes that weren't cruel or unkind. And he started looking deeper, and he realized that the body can't tell the difference between genuine, spontaneous laughter and fake it till you make it laughter, deliberate laughter, and the healing that comes from this as an exercise is profound. I myself just got a totally normal blood pressure reading for the first time in a long time, having been doing this for a while now. So the body can't tell the difference. Laughter yoga involves 4 different elements, and we're going to play with all of those. Rhythmic clapping and chanting is actually one element. Deep breathing exercises, that's the yoga part of laughter yoga. Childlike playfulness, which you have already all indulged in a little bit by coming in and, oh, okay, here we go. And laughter exercises. And I do encourage you to take care of yourselves. Be gentle. Consider it a warm-up. If you genuinely start laughing, that's absolutely wonderful.
Yes, I'm the microphone stand.
So we're going to start with just some clapping. You've got acupressure points in your hands, and we're going to stimulate those. And we're going to start with a simple chant. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. 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 Very good, thank you. So, one of the childlike playfulness things that we do is when we get done with an exercise or a series of exercises, we can go, very good, yay! So try that with me. Very good, yay! Perfect.
You'd never get this in an English audience, I tell you.
Well, you see, you've already warmed us up, so that's excellent.
I'm the warm-up, yeah.
So the next thing we're going to do is a little bit of deep breathing. And again, do what is comfortable for you. We didn't have you sign any release forms when you came in, so be gentle with yourself. But I invite you to take a deep breath in. Hold it a few seconds. And then blow it out and sustain your exhale. And let's do that again. Deep breath in. Hold it. And then let it out slowly. And this time we're going to do the same thing, but on our exhale, we're going to laugh or pretend to laugh. So deep breath in. Hold it. And then oh, you all are wonderful. That next room is going to be wondering what the heck we're doing in here.
Must have been a really good joke.
Must have been a really good joke. So one of the laughter exercises can be done pretty much with anything at all. And so I invite you to think about how you felt when you walked in the room and it was all arranged in a different way and it wasn't what you were expecting. So we walk in the room and laugh
You
with
saying
me.
they were laughing at me?
Laughing at the room.
Laughing at me. You're right.
So laugh with me at the room.
I get it. I'm really laughing.
No, don't apologize. That is, hopefully you when you practice this, you do eventually come to actual laughter. And then, in honor of my spouse who is in the room, I want to share the one that has...
Where is he?
I'm not going to point him out.
I think you should. I'm really embarrassing.
I'm going to share with you the exercise that comes in handy when things really go wrong. So maybe Will and the videographers can do this one because of what we put them through. And that is when something, you get cut off in traffic, you couldn't find a parking space, work is just annoying. You try this. Ha. 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 Ha.
That's the other one when you're driving. When you're driving and someone cuts you up, that's what you'll say. You should probably do that more. You should do that
Yes,
more.
I have been trying to do that when I'm in traffic. I actually saw today on my way here, you know how people loft their pickup trucks? I saw a white Sprinter van lofted like that pickup truck. And it made me laugh. So anyway, that is a very, very quick introduction to laughter yoga.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Good. Yeah. Well, I think it's great that we should all kind of laugh as a response to things more, shouldn't we, really? And be less inhibited about it. Things we find funny, we tend to go, that's a bit funny. Maybe we should just laugh. It'd be great. So I'm moving on to Darren, I think. You're next. Is that okay? Yeah. I didn't warn you about that, did I? I meant to sneakily tell you, but I got involved too much with Laura. So Darren, I'm going to introduce him here. Darren Kramer is a trombonist, composer, educator, music producer. Okay, so he's a professional trombonist, and luckily he's brought his trombone with us. So Daniel, over to you. Sorry, yeah. I've lost the power now.
Thank you. Look at this, we're equals here. Look. Some people do call me the tall trombone guy. Yes, I've been playing trombone all my life, and this is really awesome. Humor and breathing is near to my heart because I've been doing that my entire life. And shout out to my mom. It's her birthday today. Yes. And I'm so fortunate. I grew up in a music family, and my dad and my mom and my sister all went to CU Boulder. And due to shortness of time, this is a trombone, and if you want to learn some cool details about it, I was really fortunate to be able to do a TEDx Boulder talk just this past fall at Chautauqua, just up the road. So go look that up, Trombonology. I talked about kind of the art and science of trombone, and I played 7 different styles of music, which I composed to demonstrate how versatile the trombone is and why I've spent my life doing it. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me, and we're gonna have a little fun here. I have a really ultra-modern group these days called electro horns, and it's 4 horns with a DJ using Ableton Live. Yeah, that's from Berlin, is the headquarters of that. And I'm going to play a song that I wrote called Fat Tuesday, and I think it's perfect for this setting because we're going to get you involved, and you're going to sing this fun little, very simple melody, and then we're going to play along with my play-along recording. So let's, why don't you, I'm going to play the melody, and then you just sing along while you kind of figure it out. A little crazy bit at the end. It's like that's the quirkiness of my personality there. So the note sounds a little bizarre. It's the sharp 11 for anybody that's keeping score out there. But here we go, one more time. All right, 2, ready, go.
Fans have arrived. Like a little plunger.
Okay, here we go. Let's sing. I want to. Here we go. This is where we kind of chill. Let's laugh. Let's laugh. Well done. That's a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Darren, and well done, the audience, for joining in there. That was great. Music is a fantastic thing to join us all together, and also to improvise too, because we can all do it in our own way, and then we're all performing in our own way. I'm going to move on now to Nicholas, who's sitting next to me. Nicholas is actually he started off sort of playing football, and he thought that was going to happen to him, I think, and then he switched entirely and became interested in film and filmmaking. And what I'm particularly interested about his work in this panel is that he's now started to make films about his own culture and the people around him. Notably your grandmother, I think I'm right in saying, which is kind of acknowledging that everybody is a performer and a star in their own way. But I'd like him to talk more about that. I'm going to hand him over now.
Yeah, thank you. How's everybody doing? Great. So, yeah, I'll stand up. That works. Okay, thank you. So just background, I was playing sports, originally from Los Angeles. My dad played in the NFL for a significant amount of time, so I thought that that's what I wanted to do, and I ended up suffering from a concussion, which kind of, changed the trajectory of how I saw the meaning of life, and also looking at my dad's life and how it's affected him. And so I got a scholarship to play football at Tuskegee University, and I graduated with an undergrad and a BA in English. So fast forward, I got back home, and I'm not gonna say I was like depressed, but I was like, what am I gonna do? Trying to navigate things. And I just recall taking a film theory course. And so that was like what sparked my interest in film. I'm like, I got a gang of stories to tell. Like, I could do this. I love what comes from storytelling. And so I ended up going to film school, and here I am now working on my thesis film. I'll be graduating next fall, this upcoming fall. So it's on my grandmother. Me and her are very close. She's diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and just, you know, her life is very mundane at this point, but I believe there's like beauty in the mundane. There's beauty in, you know, everything like that. So I believe you wanted me to kind of see what stories other people could tell.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting, the work you're doing about somebody that you know. I wondered whether other people in the audience think about it. Would you have someone that you would want to make a film about? And could you tell us about that?
Yeah. Is there
Anybody?
Is there anyone who has? Okay.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take the microphone. I'll be the microphone stand. I'm good at that.
I just had this fantasy one day of a film that would create a lot of emotion. And it starts off of a baby being born in the water, because there's a lot of different kinds of births, and one of them is birthing your baby in water. And then you see the baby growing up, and it's now maybe in the bath and sitting in puddles and getting older, and then first swim class, and then getting a little older, and as it matures, it's now maybe 10 and just comes to the pool and throws off the outerwear and it starts off where mom is helping, you know, at 6 years old, throw off the outerwear for the swim lesson or to play in the pool, and then by 10 the kid is, and then by 12 it's shyly taking off as the development of the body progresses, and then at 16 throwing the clothes off with proudness of the body having developed beautifully. And it goes on and through life, and then finally towards the end of life, the wheelchair, the attendant is wheeling this older woman now to the beach and wheeling them towards the water, and they look at the water so beautifully, and then bringing the wheelchair into the water, dumping her in the water, and she swims. No, it's not the end. She swims. And then at the very end of life, it's a kind of a water, all the family gathering around, and the water is where her last breath is, or something.
You seem to have this whole film already in your head. I was going to ask you who it's based on. Is it based on somebody you know? Okay. Because it's a lovely film. I want to just go back to Nikki and Nikki. Is it Nikki? Sorry, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, I mean, sounds like you have it thought out. We can start working on pre-production. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I just want to ask. I want to ask you, Nikki. What is your aim for the film? About your what is your aim? What are you trying to say about your grandmother? What is it that you want to be? Is it a remembrance thing? Is it, I don't know, surprise people? What do you want to say?
Yeah. So essentially, in my family, it's not too much history that's documented, and I think that as far as like my community is concerned, especially, you know, we kind of lack those things, and I think it's very important for you to know where you come from. And personally, like I said, me and my grandmother are very close. I would love to just have something of her, to remember her, you know what I mean? And obviously she's still around, but you know, having that, you know, within the family it's really more of a personal thing. Also just to share, because I feel like no matter where you are in life, you're learning, and you know, she has to figure things out for herself, you know, in a lot of instances, as far as like, well, is she gonna get up and go walk? She has a routine of walking every day. So it's like the mental battles, the consistency, what is it that keeps her going? And I think that, you know, that can be translated and given to anyone, whether you're young or you're old, you know, just having this this idea of what keeps you moving forward. I think it's awesome. So yeah, I kind of want to improv if that's okay. So yeah, great. I mentioned I graduated with a degree in English, so like I love words. I love like how they're put together and all that. I do music sometimes, and my music is more, I guess you could say, like a stream of consciousness. It's not like, I don't know, I just kind of like let things flow. So my parents, they recently moved to West Tennessee, and there's a road there that I like to drive at night, and I really just, when I'm on that road, I let my mind go. I think about life and I guess like what is going on in my life at that time. So I made a song, and I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm gonna do a spoken word version of it for you all. Would that be? Okay. Yeah, thanks. And so like I'm a storyteller, so and when you're listening to it, you can kind of close your eyes and maybe you can imagine some of the things. Do you mind if I get that stand? Can I get that? I'm just gonna go grab it. Yeah. All right. Let's. I'm just gonna take a sip of water. Oh, of course. Thank you all. All right, here we go. And so the song is called "A Night on Raleigh LaGrange." It's on, anywhere where you can stream it. So, my suitcase is filled from my last trip. My bank deposits, they hit like cashes. I don't mess with the crypto, 'cause that's cashless. The penmanship comes too easy, check the fast twitch. Shoot the scenes of my life through Panavision lenses. This is not a movie, this is how I'm living. Let the credits run slow so they could see who built it. Come to the screening, you gon' need a meal tick. She asked me, Nikki, how's your day been? I couldn't lie, I told her, girl, it was amazing. I'm off grid, building on solid pavement. Prosperity is in my conversations. The stars are in alignment. I'm somewhere on a state looking out on the horizon. I might not respond to her text, but she don't mind it. If you get lost on your way, then I'll find you. On the back roads, better drive slow. Can you tell me what is beauty with your eyes closed? I'm synced with success, check the time codes. I be in and out of different time zones. You're not organic, you're a rhinestone. Come into my garden, see what I've grown. Look, I've been in tune with Yah's nature. I'm planting money trees, adding these acres, I'm counting paper. I'm chatting with a girl from South Haven. Her eyes say her mind's racing. I'm steady asking God to shed light on where my place is. I'm bad with names, but I remember all their faces. My window's tinted, but I feel the Lord's graces. We at Lowry's, tell them bring some more cases. Okay, so more or less, I think you're tasteless. You trying to pass it off as official, it's really makeshift. That's not called the carport, that's the port cachere. I'm working on being content while steady earning more. They said they wanted beef, but come to find out they were herbivores. I don't have to say another rhyme, but baby, furthermore, my life is captured on the lens of an Ari. If you meant it, you don't have to say sorry. My garments is smooth, they don't tarnish. Blue strips plus the loose change in the armrest. Let me clarify, the ops are terrified that I might put them in the sky like a paraglide. These folks stupid, baby, bear in mind, I'm on earth, but I don't live by its paradigms. Model women, and they twins, that's a pair of dimes. I'm not really into rushing, so I take my time. You steady straddling the fence while I've taken sides. I'm studying to learn the language of the ancient scribes. Knowledge foretold, elevation foregoed. You got changed, but what's the price of your poor soul? I never cared to know what's at the end of a rainbow. Gas in my tank like I'm finna shoot a paintball. Most High sending in never-ending pay stubs, and I'ma keep eating fresh fruit 'cause it tastes good. My ancestors with me, we the best like Ace Hood, and I'll be at the top sewed in like a lace front. It's Nikki. Thank you.
Really well done. It's fantastic. Thank you, Nikki. It's made me think of something I want to do later in the session now, which I hadn't thought of before, but we'll get to that. I also loved what you said about your grandmother, because I love the cinema, but I often think, I wish there were more films about just people, because, not with stars in, just about people, because everybody's got such an interesting story to tell. And I think you could probably each one of you here, I hope, could think of somebody whose life would make a great film, actually. Your own or somebody else's, somebody that you know. I think we all know those people. Good. I'm going to move on to my last person on the panel, who is Matt Jones, AKA the Relative Zero. I wondered if I could call you Zero for short, or even just, because that would be really hi, that'd be really great. Wouldn't it? Matt is a DJ, and also, interesting, you might tell us something about this, a founder of Rave for Good, which is interesting. So I'm going to hand the mic to him, and remember what we said about this thing about Matt, as I say, is a facilitator of other people's creativity, I feel. I mean, that's what I feel a good DJ does, but maybe he will talk about it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew Jones. I came all the way from Berlin, Germany today to speak to all of you. So very happy to be here. Also, my parents are in the audience and happy to see them as well. A little bit about me. I am a musician. I'm also the owner of Relative Studios, which is a recording studio in Berlin, Germany. There I work with musicians of all types. I can kind of look at this board and say, yeah, I've worked with yoga music. I've worked with audiobooks. I've worked with film. I've worked with trombonists. And overlooking this whole process, you realize rhythm is key to music. Without rhythm, it's, in my opinion, potentially just sound. And if you look at the fundamental history of music, we started with banging on objects, making something sound. Oh, that sounds interesting. Whoa, if I do a little space there, that's different than doing, that's the fundamental of rhythm. We start banging on things, and then we start, oh, if there's a metal thing hitting on that drum, it makes tonal. Now it's not just, it's got a little ding frequency to it. Let's explore that. Let's go more. And I was at the pub a couple nights ago. I met a banjo player. And this banjo player, he talked my ear off, but he told me some interesting stuff. And what he told me, that banjo is actually one of the oldest instruments we have besides the drums. Because when you have the drum, at some point we started putting strings on it. And when you put the strings on the drum, you start to get melodics. So what I'm doing nowadays is I'm performing a techno live set, which involves tons of synthesizers, drum machines, all put together in some sort of chaos to make rhythm and melodics. Put together, what do you got? Music, yeah. So you look at the history of music, and rhythm is such a fundamental part of it. But it goes deeper than that, doesn't it? Rhythm, where do we find the core of rhythm? You all have it right here. That is the reason we have music. That's the reason everyone here likes music. Is there anyone in the room that hates music? Anybody? No, because rhythm is a part of our life. We even have a daily rhythm, if you will. What is humanity without rhythm? So going on that, I have I don't have the opportunity to really kind of show you with sound because it involves a big technical setup. My live setup has multiple synthesizers together. It takes a little while to set up, and I don't want to stress these guys. But my dad did bring, if I could grab this bag from you. My dad, everyone. Without sound, I can kind of show you how technology has changed rhythm or advanced it or given us some more opportunity. I think I can put it here. So this, believe it or not, is an instrument. This is a modern day drum sequencer, drum synth, drum machine, if you will. And essentially what this machine does, and I use it as part of my musical setup, is you see here we have 12 different pads. Each one of these pads I can assign a sound to, not very different than a drummer. You have your snare, you have your hi-hat, you have whatever, your clap, your kick. I can assign those sounds to here. I could also could record in it like me going, put that there or whatever. I could put woo, woo. Well, you know, you could go really crazy with it. I can assign these sounds to whatever I want. And what this machine does is allows me to put that in rhythm. If you see on the bottom here, and I can show you guys as well. On the bottom here, there is a row of buttons. And this creates my sequencer, essentially. I can take either of these sounds and put it on whatever step I want. And I can make that 30-second notes, I can make it half notes, I can make it whole notes, I could go as deep as I want, 128. So using technology, humans have found a way to advance rhythm, to do something that's beyond what a drummer can physically play, but our brain can still comprehend. So how far will rhythm go? I guess it depends how far humanity goes. It'll always be improving with the tools that we have. Thank you all.
Thank you. I wish we'd have got to Matt before because he said, had he have known, he could have brought something in and demonstrated it for us, which we'd have loved, but he didn't know. Sorry.
You can check out my SoundCloud. My name is The Relative Zero, or if you look up, one more thing I didn't talk about. I'm a founder of a non-for-profit called Rave for Good. And essentially 6-7 years ago, me and a couple friends started this project, and we do raves, we do concerts, all the stuff that's happening in Berlin. But we do it with a group of individuals that donate their time. All of our staff donate their time for the charity, all of us musicians play for free. And then at the end of the party, we have thousands that go towards something good. We've dug wells in Africa, we've donated to war zones, humanitarian crises. So we found a way to take something that's normally a little greedy of a business, a lot of money going into one person's pocket and not others, and taking a way to help the world. So if anyone here is interested, you could find more information about our charity at Rave for Good. That's spelled Rave, RAVEFORGOOD, .Berlin. There's tons of information on there.
Thank you. And like I said, if you are in Berlin, do check out some of those clubs because, you know, age isn't a problem. And I hate dancing. I hate dancing publicly.
I have a friend who's 18-year-old and another friend who's 55, and they are best friends, and they go out partying together. I've been dancing on the dance floor with 80-year-olds. I've brought my parents to even a club, so if you're in Berlin, don't feel too old.
No. And you don't feel self-conscious. It's a way, the DJs are fantastic. You're made to feel like you're part of it and you're comfortable. It's fantastic. What was I going to say? Yeah, a couple of other things, but I thought I wanted to, because we only had one poem from Benjamin. I thought it'd be nice to ask him for another one. So I've asked him, and he's going to do another one now. Benjamin.
Thanks. Okay, so the title of my book is called Poems Can Fly. And that has many different meanings. The original meaning, it came from an African-American myth about people who were enslaved, decided they were no longer going to be enslaved, and just took up into the sky. That myth, which has been kind of rolled over a few different times and explained a few different times, really is based upon an African tribe called the Igbo tribe, who were notorious for not being able to be enslaved because they would jump off the slave ship and said, I'm taking everyone with me. And they were okay with that because they believed there was something more than this life, and they didn't want to live their life enslaved. So I thought that was such a powerful thing to experience. And I wondered, what were the words they were saying right before they took that leap, that jump? And I think in a certain point in time, we all have to realize that we kind of shackle ourselves with thoughts, ideas, paradigms, labels, age, so on and so forth. But at a certain point, we come to a crossroads. And at that crossroads, we get to have an opportunity to take flight. And I believe the dream or the poem inside of us allows us to do that. So this is that poem called Poems Can Fly. Standing on the edge of the horizon at the sun and moon drive-in, arms pressed to the sky's great chest, feet rest on the cross between life and death, here, where eyes ride the mind's crest, where hearts drum our fiery depths, where land meets tide and mountain peaks hide, a word begins to rise. It was an elegy in a sweet melody that gave blue to the sky. And we are taken so deep, taken so high, never can we forget, never can we deny that poems can fly. I breathe in that last painterly stroke and let my soul walk its note, finally letting it all go. Fear, fame, shame, future, friend, and foe, pain, vain, gain, even my name, I'm letting go. And then in that moment, between thought and thing, between life and dream, the dark is shattered by art, and I am taken so deep, taken so high, taken above, taken inside. What winds make these wings alive? What memory makes our freedom rise? It was an elegy in a sweet melody that gave blue to the sky. Never can we forget, never can we deny that poems can fly. So here, on the edge of the horizon, where beginning meets end and space meets time, remember the ride. Remember the moment in the rhyme that life can't defy, that time can't divide, where our minds moved in might, where our hearts moved in light, with our hands open, arms wide, soul woken, hold tight. It was an elegy in a sweet melody that gave blue to the sky. Never can we forget, never can we deny that we are the poems that can fly. Thank you. I guess I should give my little elevator pitch. If you want to pick up a copy of my book, just come holler at me, or you can visit my website. It's Zoid Art House, house spelled the German way, so ZOIDARTHUS.com. I got all my art up there too, so thank you, appreciate it.
Fantastic. I'm looking at the time. We've had some fantastic performances. And something that Nicholas did made me think, because Nicholas was very brave because he wasn't expecting to do that. He just came up and did it off the cuff. And I wondered if there's anybody in the audience who has a poem either on their phone or in their head that they want to share. Yes, please come up. As long as it's not 24 hours long. Because one of the themes of this is we're all performers. Everybody's got creativity and performance. And thank you. Huge round of applause.
Thank you. I can take it from you. That's all good. I don't need it. Appreciate you. Hi. My name is Ari. I'm an undergrad here. I'm a senior. I'm graduating from the Department of Ethnic Studies in the College of Music. And this is just a little something I wrote. I work in a music studio also on campus, so I spend a lot of time just like pondering in there, I guess. So yeah, this is one I wrote in there. I'm 22 years in this fight for liberation. I'm finding this power in education, reclamation. We not the first generation to fight discrimination from this decrepit nation, because it's founded on genocide, segregation, and colonization. Problem is that the population, problem is that the population swayed by power of association, major organizations, assimilation, like brown kids out here just trying to make it to graduation. I like that we can have these kinds of conversations, because when you speak, it feel like you writing a dissertation. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Fantastic. I feel now that there's a CWA panel where we just get everybody in and ask them to do something, a poem or something, or make it. Wouldn't that be great? That would be quite a good panel, actually. It's just the audience. It's not really the presenters at all. Anybody else? Thank you. Come up. Can we give her a round of applause? Can you get through? I didn't make convenient aisles when we very, very quickly. Probably not health and safety aisles, I'd like to point out. If you're creating an auditorium, don't do one like this, because you're breaking all the health and safety rules. It's really not right. Do you want to hold it, or?
Whichever.
I'll put it. Okay. Just make sure you get close so we can hear you. Tell us your name.
Hello. Hi there. My name is Laura. I see a friend. Hello.
Just worried that's going to fall out. I don't want it to fall out.
Okay. Here we are. I have a book that I often carry with me, so it has all kinds of interesting things, and I was just very happy to see this, and so I decided I'd take advantage to read and share with you all. This poem has no title particularly, so I want everyone to just take a deep breath. I want breathing between your eyebrows, deep breath in through your nose, hold, and deep breath out through your nose. That's called a healing breath, by the way. And this is the poem to think of. Golden sunlight, honey butter spread on my hot biscuit, soaking into the fluffy layers dripping down the sides. Cream cheese and tart sweet fruit glide in luscious layers on the gilded saffron glow. Entwined in yeast and heat, my mouth encloses the bread.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just going to carry on. Anyway, I've got the plan, but it doesn't really matter. Anybody else? Because I'd rather do this. No? No? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. We should do more of this. I think I'm going to finish. Yeah, I think I could do this. They don't know this. I'm going to do something with us. We're going to tell a story, and some of the audience might get involved as well. And it's an exercise I do with my improvised group, my elders, my lovely elders in Southwark in London. And it's called the Yes and Story. The Yes and Story. So I'm going to start. Each person has a sentence, and then the next person has a sentence, and we tell the story together. Okay, but it's one story we're telling, not 5. Or 6. Sorry. Yeah, get the maths right. There's a rule to it. I will start, so I might say something like, John woke up one day and decided to go to the park. Then Matt, who's going to be the first person who speaks, will say, yes, and he will continue that story with a sentence. I don't know what it is. He'll make it up. What he can't do is block my story. He can't say, yes, and it was raining, so he went back to bed. Because that's not really helping. The idea of yes and is yes, I understand that, and I'm going to develop your story. As the story goes along, we have to remember everybody's bit and involve everything, because we're telling the story together. Okay? So the rule is you have to start at Matt, and then he'll hand to Darren, and Darren will say yes and. Actually, Darren, because you're a musician, you could do your bit of the story with music. That's going to be really interesting for Nicholas. But okay, then it might be appropriate. I'll leave that to you. And so you must say yes and then you say a sentence or 2 at the most. And then it goes back to the next person. If a member of the audience suddenly has a great idea, stand up and I'll get the microphone and you can say yes and do a bit of it, okay? We're going to try and tell a story that's never been told before and will never be told again. Okay. That may or may not be a good thing. Okay, so I will start, and I'm going to hand it to Matt. Okay. I've got to think of something. David woke up one morning and decided to go to the zoo.
And while and while he was at the zoo, he slipped on a banana peel while a monkey was staring right at him.
Yes, Anne. But this was the Singapore Zoo. So he went to the bar and had a tiger beer.
Yes, and he loved tiger beer. And while he was in there, he bumped into that monkey.
Yes. And
with enthusiasm.
yes, and when he bumped into the monkey, he also saw his old high school sweetheart.
This is getting good. This is getting good. Right.
Yes, and his old high school sweetheart was the monkey.
Yes. And the monkey said, "Why aren't you buying me a tiger beer?"
Anybody wants to stand up?
Yes, and he looked in her beautiful, beautiful monkey eyes and said, "Let me buy you a tiger beer."
Say yes, and you can play something.
Yes, and
And after they'd had sex for the first time in 10 years, they decided to go watch Planet of the Apes.
Yes, and when they watched Planet of the Apes, her boyfriend came to watch the movie.
Okay. Yes, and during the movie, they realized they were living the Planet of the Apes.
Yes. And David decided that he liked living on the planet of the apes.
We can tie it up at any time now. We could go on forever.
Yes, and then the story went on forever.
I think I gave Matt a get out there. Thank you. We've got just under 10 minutes. I just wanted to say, because I didn't give it, has any of the audience got any questions for any of the members of the panel here? Or you could ask one of the questions that you were handed out, and we will attempt to answer it. Yes?
What do you reflect on as the most positive elements of your experience?
This week or in my life?
This is for anybody, not just you.
Okay, no. I understand that, but I'm trying to. Do you mean the most positive? Say it again, because
As the most positive elements of your experience. I think your human experience.
your human experience. That's a big question. Anybody want to take an answer of that? No, yes.
I think for me, I do all these different things: storytelling, poetry, dream work, laughter yoga. And what it all comes down to is that all of those help foster compassion. And that is my heart work in the world, and that is the most positive part of my existence.
Thank you, Laura. That's really positive. It's nice to hear. Hang on. Anybody? Sorry. You want to answer? Sorry. There's an answer there. So no, I want to answer first. You have an answer. Darren, you have an answer. And then there's another question.
I'm just very passionate about the fact that I've been blessed with music my whole life, and it allows me to collaborate and share with people all over the world. And I think that's a powerful medium, and just a thing that I didn't realize until I'm just deep into it, that was really why I became a musician, and I think it also goes, Wynton Marsalis is one of my heroes as well, and he's so big on jazz is democracy, you know, and it's a way we can all contribute our voice for a higher good, and our ego is not there, it's for the greater good of music is just an X factor in itself too. I love that. I write music and play music to serve that instead of myself or whatever, but the fact that I can share that with a lot of people is really incredible. So let's keep promoting music and music education, because it really starts with our children, right?
Yeah. Darren, you made me very jealous, because the thing I always wanted to be was a musician, but I had absolutely no talent, so, you know. Question?
I have a question, and the zookeeper said, no more tiger beer for you guys in the monkey exhibit. What is your favorite part of your culture you would teach to others? Who wants to take that?
What is the favorite part of your culture that you would teach to others? We have a range of cultures here, a range of experiences in different countries. And I would, of course, say God save the king. But anyway, actually, I wouldn't. I'm a Republican. In terms of, I'm not. I don't like the royal family. So, I wish I was like you lot. You know, I wish I was a citizen, not a subject. But there you are.
I think I would probably share cooking. I love to eat, and I think that food is one of those ways of bringing people together. So, you know, I think when people are able to like come and sit down at a dinner table or wherever and like commune together, I think a lot of progress or a lot of, I don't know, understanding can be had. So I would probably share cooking.
Can you give us a specific example of some food that you think is good for this?
I might say it's about to be summertime, so maybe which is easy, fried green tomatoes. I don't know. Some people have a thing about tomatoes, but you know, they're pretty good. Especially when you fry them. You know, anything fried is anything fried is good. So.
Good answer, Nicholas. Anybody else? Yeah.
I think from my culture and my kinfolk, I would share joy. And joy isn't as fickle as happiness. Joy is about transcendence, you know, and it comes from a very deep place of overcoming something. And I think all cultures have joy within them. But I think specifically Black Americans, the way we can experience the world is through our joy. And despite what we might be in, or the places we might be in economically, racially, all of those things, the joy erupts from us. And I think if all cultures had that in their society, they would realize it isn't about the money, it isn't about power, it's about how we can come together and make each other joyous. So.
Any other questions? I'm very good on European capitals. Sorry. Yeah.
So you talked about in music there was rhythm, there was melody, and there's also accent. And that brings me to a question I've had for years that I think maybe you could answer, is how do the British decide what syllable and when do you accent in a sentence or paragraph or anything else?
We decided a long time ago, and I'm afraid you got it wrong. I don't know. We are, as somebody once said, a nation divided by a common language, which I don't think we should get annoyed about it. I find it really amusing and interesting, because there should be differences. And, you know, I'm working on a play at the moment. I'm working on Beckett's Waking for Godot with a group of older people. And of course you would say, do you mean Godot? No, I mean Godot. Oh, Godot? Who's Godot? I don't know the answer to that. I'm not clever enough. But it is, I think we should celebrate it rather than argue. And I think it's just, no, I can see you're not. No, it's a rather wonderful thing, I think. It's a rather wonderful thing, because we are different, and we should, that's fine. No rules, no rules. There aren't any rules really in English. Good language though, isn't it? We're lucky. I think we're just about on time. So I would like to say, I was terrified of running this session, because I only found out last night, yesterday I was doing it, and I thought, oh, how can I do it? But actually it's turned out to be one of the most lovely and fun sessions, mainly because I've got these fantastic speakers. I'd like you to give them all a big round of applause. Who, can you move forward a bit? Because he was the guy who wouldn't move forward. Anyway, he wouldn't move forward. So I'll always remember them. And thank you to you for being part of this. And because we wanted to make the audience as much part of it as us. And I think we've tried to do that. But thank you for doing that. And I hope to see you again.